third and fourth grade writing. There's a video for both of y'all. This is an example of the book we're going to be doing. It's going to be a hard or soft cover book based on what you order. And we're going to make one book with one title that we're going to figure out later. And each of you are going to be ultimately, at the end of this thing, going to be responsible for one picture and one chapter. This would be the chapter title, and this would be what you write in that chapter. And you could have one big paragraph, or you could have a couple of smaller ones, and it's going to have your name at the bottom. This page shows you each of the chapters that we're going to be doing, chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And each child from third and fourth grade writing is going to be taking on one chapter. So, for example, if Zoe is who is taking chapter 3, did this, and this was chapter 3, this would be what Zoe writes, and it would say by Zoe down here. And this would be a picture that Zoe draws. And remember, these pictures have to be done with marker, okay? Because they said the marker is going to show up the best. So this company wants pictures that are done in marker. So now for your homework this week, okay? Everybody's going to be getting a picture of this through the email that you can print if you need it, so you know which chapter is yours if you need to see this, and you can see which chapter comes before and which chapter is coming after what you're writing, because that's important. The third graders are going to be having this. They have these 2 pages to take care of. Fourth grade, you have a page that's similar, but it has some of your familiar hamburger paragraph ingredients, and you're going to have to use 1 or 2 of your hamburgers that you have. So this is what you need, fourth grade. Okay, so for now, we're going to set aside the hamburger paragraph for the fourth grade. Just worry about this page. And third grade, you just need these 2 for now. And we're going to go through step 1, and that is to make sure we have this filled out first for both. And we're going to do that together. So my chapter title, don't worry about that yet. You can put one if you think you know what you want to call your chapter, but just remember we might change it later. But it might be better to figure out your chapter title once you've got all of your information in there. But we are going to circle one of these. Paragraph type, do you have a beginning, middle, or ending paragraph? Right here, we have a beginning one with Lauren, and all of these other ones are the middle ones, are developer ones. And this Ainsley has the closer or the ending one. So based on which one you have, you need to circle that. Now, topic is going to be a couple of words that tell what your chapter or your paragraph is going to be about. So, for example, Lauren, the clubhouse, that's just a couple of words. That's all she needs to say what her paragraph or her chapter topic is. Here's a bigger one, okay? The kids go home. This is after the monster grows. They don't even know about it. The kids go home, hear on their dad's cop radio about rampaging monster, and so they leave to go find it. A lot of stuff going on here. So if someone had this paragraph, they can put something for the topic like kids hear about monster, okay? Or monster on radio, something like that. And so everybody needs to go through these, whichever one is yours. This one's easy, it's just 2 words. Isaac, you got an easy one. Success, kids are rewarded or kids are honored, that's easy, it's just a couple words. Back at Clubhouse, Ainsley, you got that one, so that's easy too. But then we have the main idea. This is a little bit longer. It's going to be about the topic, okay? So we'll probably include that in it, but it's going to have a little bit more information. This is the main idea of your paragraph. That's what you want your readers to understand or realize about your paragraph or your chapter. Okay, so for example, clubhouse. Well, Lauren has the clubhouse here for her main idea, but in order to, we don't just want to talk about the clubhouse. We want the people that read our paragraph here to find out more than just that the kids are in a clubhouse, because they're fixing to go explore and find a hidden beach. So here, we need to know that they are deciding to go exploring today. So in here we can say something like, kids in the clubhouse decide to go exploring. Ta-da, you're done with your main idea. You mentioned the clubhouse, and the kids that were in the clubhouse decided to go exploring. And that will work. Everybody needs to fill out this part, both third grade and the fourth grade. And that is the end of step 1. Okay, now let's go to step 2. Step 2 is we're just kind of taking some notes and getting some ideas. Third grade, you have a setting, characters, object nouns, action verbs, and this should be familiar to you because it is based off of your cards. You have your object nouns here and here for the black, your verbs, action verbs, you have settings, and you have characters, okay? Now these are just going to be ideas. Now some of these may have to change after we all kind of get together and figure things out. But we have settings are going to go here. So based on which chapter you have, what setting is it going to be in? I want you to write this down here. Now if you have some ideas for a couple different settings that they might be able to be in, or maybe they're starting one and they go to another setting in the same chapter, you can put 2 here. However many you think that you would need just for your chapter, not for anybody else's, just for yours. Most of them should probably just have 1. Characters, what characters do you think you should put in the story? That's just in your part, okay? Now remember, this is a story with a group of kids. So if there's maybe an adult that comes into play, or while they're at the carnival, there might be, but that's Caleb, so that's 4th grade. But for example, if they're at the carnival, there may be some other characters that the normal characters meet. The children may be meeting other people there. So you may put some other characters other than besides the kids. But everybody that has one of these may, except for on certain one where the monster grows, the kids aren't involved in that. And let's see. I think this might be one of the only ones that the kids aren't involved in. So most people you're going to have written down here, the kids, because we don't have them named yet. That's probably going to be Lauren's job, okay? Or we might vote on that. We don't have their names yet. We don't even have how many kids there are. So if you have the kids in your section, you can just put the kids here. Object nouns, those are other things like when they get to have their weapons and stuff. It might be a certain type of weapon, or it could be a box if somebody has a box. The object noun, time machine, is an object noun. So any other nouns that they're involved in the story that really need to be, make sure you put it in there, write it down here. And actions, any really important action verbs that are going to go good in your paragraph or in your chapter. So fill this in. 4th grade, you're doing the same thing. We have settings. So what setting is your chapter going to be in? Characters involved. Remember we said the kids. If you're just talking about the kids, you just put kids right here. That's fine. Or one of the kids. You can, if he's doing something, because we don't have names yet. Important events. Any really important events that you think should go in your chapter, you can write it down here. This is just to get an idea of things. And extra persons, places, things, or ideas. Okay. Remember the 3rd graders have object nouns like a box, or extra person maybe even, or different things like that. Y'all are going to get these next week. You're going to be able to buy them. And they're just like this. There's some ketchup sauce to go on your burger. So you can buy these next week and add it to your hamburger paragraph that we're going to make. So if you have any ideas like a weapon, or if somebody has a map, or if somebody has a cell phone that's really important to one of the paragraphs, the chapters that you're doing, write any of those object nouns here, or another place, or an idea, things like that. Anything that needs to be mentioned in that paragraph or that chapter goes right here. So fill those out. That's the 2nd step. Okay, step 3 involves having something written here for your transition going in and your transition going out. Both grade levels have this. 4th grade's familiar with this paper because this is what your transition words are on. And remember, this is just an idea. You don't have to stick with these. This is just kind of just to help you out. But it is in the email if you need to print it for 3rd grade, so they can have that too. Transition words going in. Now, all of these paragraphs, every one of them, you're going to start it out, okay? Some of them, like Lauren's, just starts out at the very beginning. She has a beginning paragraph, or a starter paragraph. So she's going to probably pick something out of here, something similar, because she's starting it one day. This is a story about, or there was once, or it all started when, or it all started during, or, things like that. Any of these things Lauren could use to start the whole story off, and these are clear that this is the beginning of a story. You don't want to use this in the middle of a story somewhere. So, and we also have these for the middle paragraphs of our story. So if you're doing a developer one or one of the middle paragraphs, same thing. Any of these in here, then you're going to need a word that kind of shows a sequence, that this is happening next, or this is happening after this one, or once they were inside somewhere, or suddenly, or without realizing it, or as night fell, or without warning, or eventually, at that moment, or when they arrived somewhere, like when they go back to the treehouse. So when they arrived at the treehouse, they did this and this to get ready to battle the monster. Any of those things are good for if you're doing a middle one. So if you're doing a middle paragraph or a developer paragraph, then right here, you're going to write something like what we just said. When they arrived back at the treehouse, they did whatever they were going to do. They started planning on how they could defeat the monster. So that would be a good one to go at the beginning of your chapter, or your paragraph. So we also need one that goes out. Oh, I'm sorry. We have one more. For the last one, some of these may be good for the very last one. Ainsley is doing that. So, as with all stories, things come to an end, and that might be a good way to start, or looking back, or ultimately, or finally, or at long last, or as the day came to a close, talking about the kids being back at the clubhouse and what they're saying now. So that would be good for her to start off her paragraph or her chapter up here. Now let's talk about the transition going out to the next one. This is when we're finished writing all of our paragraph and the last thing that we're going to say from our chapter. Now, we also have a paper for that. Let's look at this one. Okay, this right here. Closing your paragraph. Okay, that's going to be the end. Closing our paragraph and going to the next one. So what can we write here? We can have, this is also in the email if you want to print this. Sometimes we can develop anticipation for our reader to where they're anticipating what's about to happen. Suspicion, we can make them suspicious or curious about something. We could shock them. We could lead them into the next paragraph, or for the very last one, okay, because the very last one for Ainsley, she's not going into another paragraph. So it's like that doesn't exist for Ainsley. She's going to just be writing here, and that's it. It's the very end of our whole story. So this would be a good one for her. In the end, or at long last, finally, things like that. So pick one of these to help finish your paragraph and lead into the next person. So how do you pick that? Well, you got to consider, okay, whose paragraph are you going to next? Zoe is going into Caleb's, right? Zoe finds the time machine at that hidden beach, and Caleb, in his paragraph, he's going to be traveling back in time to a medieval carnival, and that's when the monster shows away, and all this stuff happens next. So, for example, when Zoe's last sentence of her paragraph, she may say something like, little did the kids know, we can put the kids, did the kids know that after today, everything was about to change. So that that's kind of surprising to the readers, because they know everything is about to change after this one thing, and they're like, well, what could change? What's going to change? So that would be really good, and lead them into the next paragraph of when they go back in time. That's just an example. Zoe could use any of these except for this, right? Because Zoe doesn't have the concluding one. Only Ainsley does. So Ainsley's probably going to pick some from here. So that is the end of step 3. We're going to continue to step 4. Okay, your step 4, and this is also going to be in the email for you to print if you want to. Step 4 is to organize your chapter. Now remember, it looks similar to this. This goes all through the whole story. The entire book is on here. But each one of these has little specific things that's going to happen in each of them. So that's what this is for. This is for a chapter plot chart, not the whole story. So this helps you figure out what is going to happen in each part of your chapter. Okay? Your chapter has things that's going to happen. So what are they going to be? This is for the 3rd grade. So the 4th graders, you have one in there too. If you want to do one, I'm not requiring you to do one of these, but if you want to, if it's going to help you figure out the order of things in your chapter, then you can do that. It's up to you. So here we have a chapter title here. It's the same thing. If you want to do that, or if you're going to wait and figure out your chapter title later, that's fine. Just make sure your name is up here. And 4th grade, you can do this too, remember. So all you're going to do now is start. For example, if Zoe has Find the Time Machine, because they're already at the hidden beach, right? They found it when Logan was here, so they're already there at the hidden beach. So maybe one of the kids hits something with their toe. Other kids, he hollers for the other kids. Other kids come see. They start digging it up. Find the time machine. Describe the time machine. Figure out how to make it work, and they all get in the time machine maybe, if it's something you can get in. I'm just giving you an example. Zoe, you can put whatever you want up here. It might not be a time machine that you actually get in. It might be a little trinket or something. It might even be a ring, or, I mean, who knows what it is. Zoe, you can make up anything. So that's what you're going to be doing for the 4th step. And let's move on to the very last. For the last step, this is only for 4th grade. So 3rd graders, if you've done this and you've done this, guess what? You're done. You're done with that part. 4th grade, though, you have one more thing to do. You should have this filled out. And if you decided to make you a little chapter layout thing to help you, you can do that, or if your parents wanted you to do it. And now what we're going to do is you're going to have to fill in your pre-writing burger. And the reason we're doing this, because you already have some information here, right? Well, the reason we're going to put this information on here now is so you can start adding elaboration and support and lots of description to stuff. Because we want to make this nice and descriptive and talk about things a lot. Because we're going to need this, remember? It's going to have to fill up, because you're going to have this whole page to write on, okay, or to fill up. So you can make this. See, some of these are short and long. This one has a lot of stuff in it. So we can fit a lot of things in your chapter. So we want to make it nice and full, make a nice big burger. So instead of looking like this, we want it to look more like this, to where you have lots of elaboration for the setting maybe. And you have your people and characters, and you have some elaboration and description for your characters, and there's the event. You might have a lot of description and some more elaboration for that. So we want to add a bunch of stuff to this. Now, sometimes you might realize you want to put more in there than what you can. For example, at the carnival, okay? The carnival here, Caleb's going to be at the carnival, so Caleb may have 2 places in the carnival that he's going. Maybe you have the regular carnival here, but he's also going to go into an oddities room and talk about a bunch of stuff there. So Caleb may have his initial setting at the carnival and describe all that and what the kids are doing, the kids are there, what happens there. But then he might also go into another setting. Here's another one way up here. So you have 2 settings in the same paragraph. And they might go into a little oddities section, and inside he's going to describe it, and then they're going to see this really cool, maybe this jar with this creature in it, and it's, or maybe they don't even see anything in it because the creature is actually so tiny, and they actually break it, maybe acting silly, and the creature ends up getting on them. And so he's got a whole separate thing that happens at the carnival. What can he do? Well, he could leave it in this huge paragraph, or he can do something else. He could decide to make 2 developer paragraphs for his 1 chapter to talk about things. Because, let's look at this. You notice this chapter has a couple of paragraphs in it. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs in it. Some of them don't. Some of them have a little less. You see that one has 2. This one has 3. But they also have an introduction paragraph. And these are very short stories, so it's easy to have a lot of paragraphs in one little bitty tiny short story, because this is the whole thing. Ours is going to be the whole book, right? So you can have more than 1 paragraph in a section. So if you need to, and you're finding that you have too many, you need 2 different settings, and maybe you have too many events in 1 paragraph, you can break it up into 2 if you need to. It's totally okay, as long as you have room to write everything that's in both of these on one of these pages. Remember, I'm going to type this for you. So that is an option too. So 3rd grade and 4th grade. Let's review. Okay, this page is here for you to print so you can have it, or you can just look online. 3rd grade, you need to make sure you have this filled out in this so we can see what you want to happen in your chapter. Don't have to fill out the chapter title yet unless you want to and you have an idea, but remember it may change. The 4th grade, you need to have this done. One of these, if that's going to help you, okay, you can print one of these and do one. And also you need to have your paragraphs or your chapter done on one of these. Remember, you can have 2 if you think you have too big of if it gets too big, you can think about how to divide it into 2 paragraphs, okay? But they're both going to be developer paragraphs unless Ainsley, which is in 3rd grade, or Lauren, you're going to have a starter one, right? So Lauren, if you need to, if you have too much information going on in the clubhouse at the very beginning, you can have a starter paragraph. Let me get one. You could have the starter paragraph, and if you need another one, you can have a developer one too. So you could have 2. It's up to you. If you have too much in one, you can divide it up. So, and the reason 4th grade that we're doing this too, and not just this, is so that you can add your elaboration and description to all of your stuff. Okay, we want lots of cheese and onions and everything, as much as you can put in there. So we will look at all of this next Tuesday and try to start making things fit together. We'll get the names of the kids and stuff and some of the places, and we'll get all this stored to where we're all working together. And we'll have another video next week, and I'll give you that information, and we're going to be writing our first rough draft. So I'll see you Tuesday. If you have any questions, you can text me or call me. Okay?